Greetings from Chicago. If you hear an occasional roar on this video, it's the famous Chicago elevated train outside the window of this hotel, and so excuse that. But you remember the last time we talked, I had a postage scale in front of me, and I was measuring how much pressure it took for me to get the same amount of weight onto the bow at the tip as I had naturally at the frog. And I remember it was about 2.5 pounds of pressure that I had here, maybe 2.25, and I had a really hard time even getting close to that at the tip. So this is about how to do that. And why this is important is because a very common challenge or problem for cellists is loss of sound at the tip of the bow. So we need to do everything we can to make sure that we can draw an even sound from frog to tip. If you remember lesson or talk number 10, where I talked about holding the bow, you'll remember that, and I will remind you now, that talked about the fact that the thumb acts as a fulcrum, and that the first two fingers are the ones that push down, and the back two fingers are the ones that can push the bow up. So this is very important as we start to remember that we need to have this mechanism working well, of pushing down with these two fingers and pushing up with the thumb. And first we should just talk about the phenomenon of weight on the bow. And you remember when I had my arm on the scale here, that's when I registered 2.25 pounds. Really, that's the same feeling as sitting at a table like this and resting your arm. And this is the first exercise that you should try, just to get the sense of it. If you really relax your arm and rest it on the table next to you, it's the same as resting your hand on the bow. If I pull myself back and eventually just hold on with my fingers and let my arm really drop, so that if I pulled it off it would drop, that's the feeling that you want to have at the frog of the bow, sitting right here. But now the question is, when you start to pull the bow towards the down bow, how do you transfer that pressure? Because obviously if you just go down is this way over here with the weight, it's going to push the bow up. And you're not going to do that. And the answer is that the mechanism has to change as you go out from simple weight to transfer of pressure. It's just the same as if I'm holding this Coke bottle here in front of me, and I have to all of a sudden move it out here, or here, or somewhere else. I have to use a different set of muscles in order to do that. It's exactly the same with the bow. And the way to accomplish this as we go towards the tip, of transferring the pressure into the string, is by two things. And one of them, the first phenomenon is analogous to a tool called a Vise Grip. I don't know if you know what a Vise Grip is, but a Vise Grip is a pair of pliers that has a little mechanism in it where you can grab onto something, squeeze it, and lock the pliers, and they are gripped on there like the jaws of a bulldog on whatever you're holding, and then you can maneuver the pliers however you like with your arm. This is in effect what needs to happen with the two fingers here and the thumb as you go out. They have to become your vice grip on the bow. The second part of the way we do this is by rotation of the arm in order to exert this downward pressure on the fingers and the upward pressure on the thumb. And that is most easily explained or illustrated by what happens to your arm when you either open a doorknob, go like this, or say this was a screw top and I had to open it. It's sort of the same as doing this with the hand. It's a rotation of the arm that goes up like this. What actually happens as you go towards the tip of the bow, if you rotate the arm, is that the palm is flat here at the frog, but as you go out and you rotate the arm, the palm starts to face away. So here's another exercise to practice: is level palm and then palm facing away from you. And this motion of rotation is pretty much exactly what happens as you go out towards the tip of the bow. that's basically all there is to do. There are exercises for this. We'll do those in another talk. But one more thing that's important, if I were to reach for my wallet out here, I would not reach for it like this with my wrist bent. I would reach for it like this. It's pretty much the same with the bow. The bow at the tip should be reached for this way and not this way. The only way that that can really happen, if you're going to rotate the arm out there, is for the bow to be able to move a little bit in the fingers. Because if you lock it here like that, and you don't move, you don't let the bow move within the hand, when you go out here, your wrist will break here, and you don't want that. What you want is this, and then rotating the arm. So, this motion, practice opening doors, rotating like this. Use the weight of your arm with the frog, transfer it as you go out. There are ways to practice this. I showed you once, I think, the sound level meter when I was at the Rose studio. We can use that perhaps in another talk to work on getting an even sound. But for now, think of this. Think of the weight at the frog. Think of opening your doors. And we'll do some exercises for this specifically in the next talk.